Good morning everyone, welcome on Game Drive with us here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands of South Africa. My name's Brent, Alex is on camera and Andrew's in final control, and then Scott and Brian on the other vehicle. So what our plan is this morning is we're going to go, we heard a report of a pride of lions heading towards our eastern boundary. We're going to go check if the tracks come through. Other than that, as you can see, it's a bit cloudy this morning. So it's a bit actually warmer this morning, which a lot of people don't understand. So what happens is when we do have cloud during the night, all the heat that radiates off the ground is caught and sort of insulates. So when we have big open skies in the morning, it's generally a lot colder. When we have cloudy skies, it's a bit warmer. Well, hopefully we have a good drive this afternoon. I'm sorry, this morning. And we're going to go to see if those lion tracks cross into our property. If not, there are reports of a female leopard tracks around the central road, and we'll go follow up in that area. Welcome on drive, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us. We will also check the last position of those two male lions from last night, although they were must be clicked off red. Affirm. I just stand by for Alex.
Okay, when it's clicked on red, you're forcing the audio to stay on regardless of which channel you're on. When it's in yellow, it means it's back on the bottom channel. There's no highlight. Well, can you hear everything? Just check the street maybe somewhere, maybe the settler down
Sorry about any technical difficulties we're having here, folks. We're trying to sort them out as soon as possible. Shabinyoni at Pangolin Junction with Chindas up the north. Here we go, there's an update about them on the radio.
I say tracks of Djuma Timber Mvula crossing Dari Main south and just opposite Twin Dams. I'll be following. I'm in the area,
So there's a report that the tracks of those two male lions we had last night, so we're lying up just to the right of us where we now have crossed our southern boundary. The pride was lying up just to the east of there, so hopefully they might have gone south and then joined up with the pride. We're going to go check now. So hopefully we can see here. Have a look quickly. Show you where. Very carefully. Right there. Yep. Best track to see. I'm not actually going to show it to you. It's very clear. It's on quite hard on here, but this is where those two. This is where those two males cross. Just let me know when the signal gets a bit better. So as you can see by the light in front of us, we're heading almost due east at the moment. Quite sure this little bit of cloud cover we have here is going to burn off quite quickly this morning. It does look like that wall of cloud in front of us could be coming from Mozambique, from the coast. So guys, we're going to keep on looking for these lines, but in the meantime we're going to hand you across to Scott so you can say good morning and inform you of his plans for the morning. So enjoy, and over to Scott.
Start and end your day on safari.
You're back with me, so we're still continuing to go check our eastern boundary to go see if the pride of lions crossed through from the east. When they were left last night at about 7:30, 7:45, they were sleeping quite close to our boundary, so that's a good sign, and their general direction for the afternoon had been towards our boundary. So we're going to go very slowly and carefully along the cheetah cut line, see if we can find any tracks coming up into the road. Okay, we've managed to get Scott back online. So we're going to hand over to Scott so you can say good morning. So enjoy, and over to Scott.
Well, good morning, and as you can see, Brian's showing you some shots of the beautiful sunrise here at Djuma this morning. Slightly overcast for now, but I think these clouds will burn off fairly shortly. And Brian and myself are following some male leopard tracks that we found early on this morning as we were leaving the camp. So not sure who it could be, but there's three guesses that it could be either Djuma or quarantined two brothers who are just over 2 years of age, or potentially their father, Mvula. So we are just following up here. I did lose the tracks temporarily. They cut off in the block, I think in this direction towards the Djuma Dam. So we're just going to continue slowly here and see if his tracks don't pop out on the road. Often when the animals are following road networks as their pathways, if they know that they're heading in a certain direction, they may cut off a corner, and I think that's what's happened in this case. And Brent and myself have started off with an initial plan where he's heading more across to the eastern half of the property, where I'm sticking closer to the central and western parts. Where could this leopard be hiding? The tracks look like they're from earlier last night as opposed to earlier this morning, but still certainly worth following up, because he may have decided to sleep or made a kill nearby and may not be too far from where we are at the moment.
Start and end your day on safari.
Welcome back, and you've come back at a good time. You've brought some luck to us, because as you guys joined me again, I've just seen this leopard's tracks again. So he did veer off through the block, as I presumed he would, and I'm guessing he's going to now veer down to the dam. Let me just check a little bit past this junction. And it does appear that he has gone down to the dam, so we will follow down there. And a great pity the waterhole camera isn't working, because if it was, it probably would have seen him last night, I'm guessing. Excuse me. Yeah, here's tracks heading straight down to the dam. Well, it is a really beautiful morning here, and looking forward to the next adventure. We've had really great game viewing over the last few days, so Brent and I have been exceptionally lucky. Last night we had two big male lions, the Matimba males, as well as Karula, a female leopard. And who knows what this morning will bring. Just to recap, I did mention briefly that Mark has taken leave. So Mark's away for just over a week on leave. So if you're wondering where he is, there's nothing to worry about. He's just taking some time off. And I'll be the next to go, followed by Brent. Oh, cool. Baboons. There's a whole troop of baboons coming down to drink, it looks like, so this is going to be a great sight. And the first baboons that I have seen since I've been here, just try and stay low there, Brian. Well, like most animals around waterholes, they can get scared. Not sure what it was that scared them off. And if this leopard was anywhere nearby, these baboons would certainly aid in us finding it, because they would let off their loud alarm call, which is very similar to that of a dog barking. if they were to see him. But I think he was here more towards the middle of the night. The tracks don't look incredibly fresh. And these are the first baboons that I've shared with any of you. And they've apparently come onto the property must have been within these first 3 weeks of February since I've been gone, and it's a massive troop of baboons, so really looking forward to spending time with them, because they are great animals to watch, and they are, I guess, our distant cousins after all. And they were probably sleeping in the tree above where most of them are sitting now. I'm guessing that's where they would have been roosting. And they either roost in big trees like that one that we can see, or on cliffs, or large outcrops of rocks. But in this area we don't have many cliffs or outcrops, so trees are their safest place to sleep. And then there's also a hippo relaxing here. There are possibly more in here, but it's the only one that I've seen pop its head up thus far. There's also a terrapin just to the right. You can see its tiny head floating through the water, and there it's just disappeared. Oh wow. Sorry. I just saw two blacksmith plovers chasing a baboon away, and there they go again. Look at that. Look at that. That's incredible. Awesome. Good work, Brian. And I think we're going to see them continue to chase the rest of the troop as they head across that way. And the reason why is that baboons will eat eggs as well as baby chicks. They are omnivorous. And the blacksmith lapwings, or plovers as they were formerly known, will, as you can see, defend their chicks with vigor. Well, lots of action surrounding the Djuma waterhole at the moment, and what a great place to stop. Now, even though we are following leopard tracks, it's equally as useful to stop and listen and enjoy whatever birds or animals or scenes we see along the way when tracking animals. Because while we sit here quietly, we can hear audio that we typically wouldn't be able to hear if we were driving. And there go the lapwings again. That mother's got a baby on her back. And the rest of the troop seem to all be following across now, so we're in for a good view of them all heading off for their day foraging. quite a big male that you can see in the shot there. And there'll be several big males within this troop that compete amongst one another. Four females, but it's not one male that's necessarily dominant within the troop. It's a gang of males that will each have their harems or girlfriends that they look after and groom. And you can see by his attitude that he's a little bit more bold than the other baboons who are running from the blacksmith plovers. He just seems to duck as they swoop down over him. He almost tried to swat one there, it looked like. Not easy for Brian to choose which baboon to focus on, but I think he's found the right one, because the blacksmith lapwings have established that it's a weak link and will continue to pest. Oh, this is too good. I never realized blacksmith lapwings would be able to provide us with so much entertainment. Go ahead, Brent. At WildEarthTV, I'm watching some lapwings assault a troop of baboons from the air. Copy, please just confirm exactly where on Gari cut line. Okay, copy, thanks. Yeah, we were following his tracks, so we rounded the corner there. Copy, thank you. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that as much as myself and Brian, because that was great viewing and not something we commonly see here. Brian's slowly panning across to some impala now, or maybe, is it the impala or the woodlands kingfisher you're going for? Oh,
there we go.
I think he might have one more little swim left in him, because I think that's just the second or third one, Brian. So this is a woodlands kingfisher that's having an early morning bath, and they fly down and dump their bodies into the water to get them wet. And there he goes.
Oh no.
Not bad, not bad. It's difficult when we're actually very close to them for the cameraman to be able to pan down as they fly. Okay, folks, well, we are going to have to hustle quickly, and you'll see why shortly. So, stand by. But we do have some good news. The leopard that we were tracking has been found just around the corner. Now, sadly, I don't have a game drive channel, so now Brent's just relayed that to me. But we were hot on his trail, and literally just around this corner, they found him. He is heading into a thick area. And they're concerned that we're not going to be able to get a visual of him. So kindly, one vehicle has made space for us, and we can make our way straight there now. He's a massive male leopard, and I haven't seen him very many times, so look forward to seeing him again. Doesn't add up. So the Mvula that we're sadly not paying too much attention to, but
back side of the quite a large building coming. Like that pan at the back, that's what I assume.
This is Gari Cutline, yeah. Brent, please just go again with another location of this animal, because I'm at the big ebony tree that I know on Gari Cutline, and it doesn't look like anything here.
If we turn left there, instead of coming this way, I think that'll lead us to it. We go behind the lodge, that jackal area, where he was one before. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, let's just stop and enjoy these Inyala, because I feel like we're on a bit of a wild goose chase at the moment. So, no points in rushing off unnecessarily. Okay, well, I'm just going to continue driving down the road that this leopard's apparently on, and hopefully we'll bump into him. Copy that. Thank you, sir. This is a route that Mvula does use, so quite interesting how we do get to know certain pathways that they don't always take, but can be kind of more inclined to use than others. Well, the good news is the radio technician who was supposed to come out yesterday and sort out these radio problems that we're having, he certainly broke down yesterday, but he's apparently on the way today, and with a bit of luck he'll sort that problem out. Brent, there's no sign of anybody on Gari Cutline at the big ebony tree. Something that I look forward to, because it does make life tricky. For example, now if they have veered off the road following this leopard and we drive past, they're going to have no way of calling us in, because I've got no comms with them, so they're going to have to relay everything through Brent. Copy, thanks. To head east or west from Central Road, from Gari Cutline. Copy, thank you. Well, there still is hope, and there's the vehicle and the animal up ahead of us. Judging by the direction he's been heading in, we're not going to get a long visual of him, but it certainly will be great just to show you a glimpse of him. I say that we won't be able to see too much of him because he could well cross to the left over this road, meaning we cannot follow him anymore. compared to Karula, the female we saw yesterday. He's an absolute brute. And so happy that we are managing to show him to you, because a male leopard certainly takes on a completely different appearance to the females, and this is a magical shot. Good little scent mark and rub up into this bush, so keep a close eye on that. Morning. Morning, Andrew. How you doing? Good, good.
Come forward if you want.
Cool, thank you very much. Hold on there, Brian. Before he does cross over to the north, which I'm certain he's going to do, I want to just try and link ahead of him, and it's going to be an incredible shot because he is heading straight in towards the sunshine, so it's going to make for an incredible view. We do just get ahead of him, and I think we have overtaken him now it's just about finding a little gap where we can link back onto the road, and I think we found that spot right here, so things are looking good. Just hold on a second or two, we'll be in position. See by the size of his head and neck how much bigger he is and how much more character he has than most of the females you'll see. Also, something to bear in mind is that he has lived a life with a lot of violence and fighting. For him to become a dominant male in this area, I mean, has not been an easy task for him. And now the sun's just picking up perfectly for us. I hope you enjoyed that view, because that is a spectacular male leopard, if I've ever seen one. Apparently the other vehicles are just so thoughtful with the production we are doing and often give us a lot of space. In order to get the right shots, so we can be very grateful for that behavior. And I'm just going to get out of the way here so that a vehicle that's just arrived can get a good view of him as well. Morning, yours. Jeez, you've brought some good luck with you. Okay. Well, have got lucky this morning, and who would have thought that when Brian and I found these tracks a little bit earlier this morning that we'd end up seeing the animal. More often than not, when we find tracks, we don't necessarily find the animal, and thankfully today it was the other vehicles that managed to find this leopard that we were actually tracking before we got caught up by the baboons being attacked at Mvula Dam. But again, just so fortunate that he hasn't crossed north into the property where we cannot follow him. And hopefully he continues along this northern boundary for a little bit longer so we get a few more glimpses of him. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do another big link around. There's a fire break road that we can take that will allow us to loop considerably further ahead of him with relative ease, and that way get another frontal shot of him rather than following behind. But as I was saying a bit earlier before I got distracted, Brian was asking who I thought it was when we initially saw the tracks, and I said it was difficult to tell. But as I started to see more and more tracks, I kept saying, they look big, because his tracks are considerably larger than his sons, who are just over 2 years old now.
I've been hard at work on the tracks. Unfortunately, those tracks have crossed across our northern boundary. There we go. I'm going to move slightly so Alex can show you. Let me just reverse and show you the tracks. Alex, can you get a... Is that wide enough for you? Yeah. So there we go. Let's go in a bit closer there. Perfect. So you can see nice, crisp, fresh tracks. So we couldn't have been that far behind them. And they've come up from Buffalo's Hook Dam where they've had a drink. And then they've come straight across and across our northern boundary. Very, very frustrating. It's very close to where we found them. Brian and I found them the other morning, so we're hoping for a bit of the same luck. But not today. So we're gonna see what else we can find. Probably head back down towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, see if maybe we can find some fresh elephant tracks of a herd, maybe some buffalo. And everything else that's out there. Hope you guys enjoy. That's exactly where they went off. No space, yeah. No space on our side, it's too full. I tend to disagree with you, Alex. I think there's plenty of space for more lions on our side. There's always space for more lions. Copy that. So the tracks of that pride we're following are probably the Nkahumas. They were the ones that were seen to the south of us last night, and then literally just took a shortcut through the corner of our property.
Just come past quarry panel and yeah, can I get a standby? Alright, no problem. Maybe start with the red area, but we'll make space here. Copy, no problem. Brain bank.
Yeah, you can go ahead. We've already got one vehicle on that sighting, so no problems.
Alright, copy, thank you. Yeah, second, make space for the crossing south. That's fine. Alright, thanks. Now I'm approaching fire break, but also cut line now.
Scott, come in. Confirm you at the Buffalo's Hook West quarry, that run just before the turn off to the dam. Okay, copy. Let's get out of the way then. Do you think he's going to come down to the dam? Okay, copy. Let me know if he gets close to the dam. I'm just going to go have a quick look at the Duggar boys in their post. Okay guys, we're going to cross back to Scott and see how he's going with Mvula. So enjoy!
Welcome back, and apologies for the delay in signal, but the good news is the leopard is still around, and I'm just trying to establish what exactly he's done. He's actually veered off in a southerly direction, more into our property, which is a bonus, and we're very close to Buffalo's Hook Dam, so he may head down there. Either way, we'll wait and see what he does, but let's just regain visual of him for the time being. I think he could possibly be lying down. Which suits us. Yep, he's lying down. Again, we've got seriously fortunate here because he has been on. Oh, look at this. He's just having a little break, it appears. Nothing wrong with that. He's been moving a long way throughout the course of the evening. Simply from where we've seen his tracks to here is about 3 miles, and we have no idea how far he came before that. looks like he's heading back onto our northern boundary, which is fine, and we're just going to shoot ahead again and use this fire break road to again try and link us ahead of him. Brent, at this stage you're all good to stay at Buffelshoek Dam if you want to. You're still continuing east. Now, it's hard to say whether he will veer down to Buffelshoek Dam or whether he's going to continue along the break, but it looks like he is back on this road coming towards us, so we can enjoy a view from here. Sorry, Brian. Certainly needs a meal. This big man left, but his stomach is empty. Morning, Craig. How are you doing? Morning, folks. After you, sir.
Thank you. He was down in the south on a hill living on vessels somewhere for the last 3 or 4 days.
Okay. Because we had his tracks coming on up Philemon's Cut Line, down past Woordteller Dam.
This morning.
Yeah. I'm guessing they were his because they found him on Gowrie Cut Line there. So all good. Cool. No, not at all. Very fortunate in the area that we're in that we do have this fire break road running parallel to the main boundary, and it allows us to keep linking ahead of him with relative ease, and thus allowing us to all enjoy these incredible views of him walking straight down the road towards us in this beautiful morning sunlight. But it's only a few hundred meters, probably a quarter of a mile, until he crosses out over our eastern boundary if he does continue this way. So it is coming to an end, but what a great sighting it's been. I was concerned he was going to cross straight over into the north where we would not have been able to follow him. So our luck from the last few days continues even today. tree squirrel alarm calling at him in the distance. Listen. Yes, that was incredible. So that rasping call is a leopard's vocalization, and I'm sure it's probably the first time a lot of you have heard it. And I'm quite surprised by it because it is an abnormal call, almost like somebody sawing through a piece of wood with a handsaw. And that was incredible to hear, and the first time I've been able to share it with any of the viewers. Just got a question through from Jan and Philly. Good morning, Jan, and welcome on board. Jan is asking at which age a male leopard, or this specific leopard Mvula, would relinquish his territory or give it up to another male, or would he even give it up? Typically, as any of the predators who fight for territories, or any of the animals that fight for territories get older, they will become overpowered by younger, newer strength coming through. It's not something that they will relinquish without a fight, I don't think, but may get to a point where they realize that they can no longer compete and decide to rather fly below the radar as opposed to putting up a fight against every animal they come across. But anywhere from about 15 years of age, a male leopard will start taking a bit of a downward turn in terms of strength, but a lot will depend on the individual. But yes, around 15 years of age, a male leopard that is dominant, oh look at that, will start to lose his strength and vigor, and therefore also his territory. We'll let Craig shoot ahead now. He has been the most recent vehicle to join the sighting, so only fair that we also give him an opportunity to get into the pole position to show his guests this beautiful sight. Okay, I'm just going to wait here actually and see what this leopard does, because we may carry on along the firebreak road that we've been taking, or possibly head down towards Buffalo's Dam. Oh, I've lost sight of him. Because if he does head down to Buffalo's Dam, we'd rather go all the way around and try and meet him there, as opposed to follow behind all these vehicles. Let's just double check what he decides to do. Yep. Oh, sorry, dude. Been so fortunate to be able to see Karula just a few days ago also acting in a very similar nature with regarding his scent marking, jumping up into the bushes to really rub his scent all over them. And now we can see the same thing with Mvula. Now, for those of you who were viewing yesterday, Karula, the female leopard that we saw, mated with this male a few years ago in order to give birth to her current cubs. that comes the latest successful litter, which are just over 2 years of age. I'm going to go all the way around yours in case he comes down to the dam. Okay, cool. We'll see you there. Good idea.
Welcome back, guys. Alex and I've just been sitting at Buffalo's Hook Dam and enjoying some buffalo and hippo, and the one hippo is getting quite curious and coming up to the vehicle. Copy will do. Shot Woody. So we've just had a... Thank you, Scott. We've just had a report from Scott. Jigger's still unfortunately having some technical difficulties. So we're actually very close to where Scott was. And to make sure you guys don't miss too much, we're going to go move to that position, and it looks like that leopard's heading down towards this area. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker for the moment, so in case, being a leopard, he decides to do something unexpected and go in another direction. Stations controlling Mvula sighting coming. Scott's having some technical difficulties. I'm coming Buffalo's Hook east from Buffalo's Hook Dam to take his place. Scott is having some technical difficulties. I'm coming up Buffalo's Hook east from Buffalo's Hook Dam. What's my best approach?
Come from Gary Main, not Gary Main, Buffalo's Catline side.
Copy, thanks. Okay, so just bear with us for a little bit, guys. Just want to be in that area quite quickly, so the picture might get a bit jumpy. So confirm which Marty?
Buffelshoek Dam. I'm on sort of the northeastern side. There's a little. I'm on the northeastern side of the Marty. There's the little two track that comes off just north of Buffelshoek Dam. There's a couple of grassy two tracks on the side.
Copy. So confirm south of the fire break.
That's affirmative. There's a little sort of catchment on the eastern side of Buffelshoek. He's mobile in that direction.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I think I went past you. I went past that little two track. I'll be back there in 2. Scott, come back. No problem, yeah, I'm about 30 seconds away from relocating. So he's gone into this drainage line here. We were trying to get around ahead, but unfortunately he seemed to sneak through the bush. So there is another car with him, and we're going to go join them now. So the area around Buffelshoek Dam seems to be very busy over the last while. I mean, we have the Mvulas right over here, and there's always buffalo and elephant and of course the hippos.
He's jigger around this side here. He's on the eastern side of the Marty. There's a little bootleg. We had an Ngala sighting here a couple of months ago. Yeah, I've got, I think it's Brent's audio and your audio, but you are on the southern side.
Yeah, I'm here at Torchwood 3, you know, where the Pusa spot is. Tell me, is it better to go, you know where that paradise flycatcher's nest is?
That's a negative. Where I went in, probably the best way, then just head east, you'll see there's a little two-track in my off-road tracks.
I'm right opposite you. I'll wait this side maybe.
Alright, copy. I'll give you a heads up when he moves.
I think it's this little track, yeah, that goes into the drainage line. Is it this one? Oh no, I think that one is a bit high. Alex, just keep looking for a vehicle to the north of us here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Okay. The vehicle, he's on the other side of the dam, so I think we're going to do is he might come down to drink. We're going to position ourselves so if he does come down to the water, we're in the right spot. there we go. How's that for timing, guys? Good morning, guys. Very well in yourself. So there we go. This is my first sighting of the Mvula male. Oh, and he's just in picture perfect position. So I have to snap a few shots, I'm afraid, guys. So I apologize for the camera clicking on the other mic. Just hang on, we're busy repositioning the camera. So just imagine we were sitting 5 minutes ago watching those hippos, and he could have just snuck in because we wouldn't have been able to see this little inlet from where we were sitting.
This is the first Mvula sighting.
First Mvula sighting, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice leopard, eh? Very relaxed leopard.
And then I got some information about all the animals here, guys. So I'm gonna have a quick look at my leopard notes.
Can I help you on the leopard?
I would really appreciate that. Yes, please.
What do you want to know?
Is he the dominant male for this?
Yeah, he's the dominant male, and he's Karula's second husband. The first husband was a leopard called Djuma Jordan.
Okay.
His second husband was Mvula.
Mvula. Oh, nice light.
So it's Quarantine and Djuma is his spring.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've met Quarantine and
I haven't yet. So I've only been here for about 10 days so far. So I've only seen Karula.
But it's his sons.
Oh.
So yeah, he's a dominant male for a couple of years now.
Nice big dewlap. I hope he walks around towards us. So interesting enough, when we were following those lion tracks, the lions drank in the exact same spot as him.
Really?
Yeah, and they also played along here before they crossed across. It must have been much earlier this morning.
That's nice.
You guys still got a visual?
No.
I think, yeah. I'm going to shoot round in case he comes up onto the road.
Yeah, we know that.
Oh, I'll definitely get hold of you then.
Female.
Yeah. No, it's always quite interesting coming into a new area because I used to be in the southern sands, so
Okay.
very new leopards for us.
Nice. You going around?
Yep. Make sure. How are we there? Alex at the back. We're not going to go swimming. Good. So there we go. The man I was speaking to is one of the landowners in the area. So he's been coming here for many, many years and has a really good idea of all the animals. So it's always nice to meet people like that who've spent an inordinate amount of time in an area. Oh, I need my hat, it's getting bright again. So I think he was going to come up just on the other side of this little dip. He's drinking here, so keep your eyes open, Alex. He could be right next to us. Was he decided? You got him? It's here. Now you would have come around the back. Let's just have a quick squiz in here. Maybe a little bit further. Judging, you wouldn't want to get his feet wet. You can hear it sounds like an alarm call from a little bird up ahead. That could be because they've seen him. There's my handheld on. nearly put Alex into a very painful thorn tree there in my reverse. It would have been quite funny. We would have heard squealing cameraman. Yeah. Good morning, Jennifer from New York. Jennifer would like to know what camera gear at the moment I'm using. I'm using a Canon 7D with a 100 to 400 lens. I think he might have actually just stopped to sleep in the shade here. I'm just going to try have a look. This is where he was drinking, unless he... Just going to try slide a little bit further forward. Can you see anyone down there? Nothing.
Yeah, he's down there.
Is he sleeping down here? Oh, he's sleeping literally, just lying down, literally just below us.
We can't get a camera shot.
We can't get a camera shot. He's literally like 3 meters below us. I'm going to try find a way to get down.
He's down here.
We need to get down into the drainage. He's sleeping up against this bank. We can just see the top of his head. You can't get through. There's a log that's blocking the top end of the dam. So we need to sort of get into this drainage line somewhere.
From there would be no shot from the trees.
Yeah, I thought I saw a spot a little bit further up where we can try. But we can't get down here. Oh, bless you. Okay.
Can we get to the tree maybe? Get a shot from there.
Where? That tree? Yeah, we're going to try now. Let's hopefully don't fall down the hill. Everyone holding on. Yep, that's it.
Good call.
Yeah, I thought he might do that because it's getting a bit warm now. He's decided to find a nice shady spot. And also the sand there is going to be a bit cool because it's damp from next to the dam. So a very good spot for a leopard to have a snooze. And I think I saw a way to get in a little bit higher up. So we will definitely try that now.
Brent and Troy coming.
Go ahead.
I got someone low for you at the dam.
Okay, copy, thanks. Also that Mvula is basically just lying up underneath that clay shelf right below. There's no access from where we were now. We can just catch top of his head from above. So this is the joy of our filming vehicles, because they...
You're going to make your way through there?
I thought I saw a spot a little bit further that side. And it looks like there's old tracks going through there as well.
Okay.
Let's just have a look.
You're going to clear the way for us?
I'll do so. Okay, watch out, Alex. Okay, so hold on guys, we'll be there in a few seconds. Joys of a short wheelbase as well. Yeah. Thought I saw a way to get through here. Hopefully it's not too steep. It looks okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, and we got some elephants down at the dam as well, guys. Yeah. So we've got leopard and elephant. But the eddies are moving just out of shot, so we're gonna just go. See, he's gone and chosen a really nice piece of damp soil. It's a very good spot for a leopard to relax. Okay, let me just have a quick look through here. Mvula. Okay, so I've got the notes on the Mvula. Mvula means water or rain. Wow! According to this information, he was born in Lion Sands, which is way in the south of the reserve, very, very far from here. Go ahead.
You got a visual from that side?
FM 55 lying in the sand.
Yeah, copy. And the little right on there is not too bad.
No, not too bad at all. So he's also, it's also supposed to be, as far as the notes here go, that he is the father of Quarantine and Djuma. It's quite interesting how people often say that this leopard's definitely the father. Sorry guys, just 1 second. So a lot of people assume that this male leopard, because the female's territory will fall in the core of his territory, is the father of her last litter or current litter. But it's very, very difficult to prove that without genetic tests from the male, the female, and the cubs. Because what happens is female leopards will often move out of their territory and well out of their territory to mate. And in doing this, they mate with lots of different males, up to 3 or 4, sometimes 5. And the reason they do this is to sort of convince all the dominant male leopards in the area that the babies are theirs. And it's sort of a defense strategy to having cubs killed by other leopards, even though that still does happen. So, but probably because he is the core male in her territory, it's quite likely that the cubs are possibly his, but it's not always 100%. Oh. So he's been on the move for quite a while. It looks like he has had a feed quite recently. Oh, Alex, if you just come out of the leopard for a second and pan along this dead log that's next to his head, and right towards the end, in the water, there's a terrapin. Looks like he's trying to dig his way out there. There we go. I wonder what he's doing. Almost looks like he might be stuck in the mud a little bit. And Mvula is showing very little interest in the terrapin. Confirm from us, Andrew. Yeah, we are in a drainage line, and that could be the issue. What I'll do is I'll try reposition a little bit higher up the drainage line wall, so if there's a possibility of getting slightly stronger signal. Okay guys, so apparently we've got a bit of a jumpy signal. We are quite low in the bottom of the drainage line. So what I'm going to do is just move a little quickly and try to position ourselves a bit higher, so hopefully it helps with our signal issues. Yeah, we're getting signal issues. Andrew, is that a bit better? I copy out. It's about the highest I can go. Oh, that's good news. I just got a report from Andrew that our signal, just for that little, we've gone up about a meter, has increased by 2 or 3 bars, so that's very good. So hopefully you guys at home are getting a much better picture. So guys, if you have any questions, please send them in on Twitter to #SafariLive or questions at WildEarthTV.
Check. Standing by.
What's happening there with it?
He's gone flat in the drainage line on the eastern side of.
I wonder what he's seeing. We can't see what he's seeing because where we are at the moment, but there might be something down at the dam that he spotted. Well, that's an interesting little fact from our notes on Mvula. He's thought to be one of the 5 biggest leopards in weight and body size in the whole Sabi Sands. Ah, okay, is that what he saw? Yeah. Okay, I just heard from Craig in the other vehicle that what he lifted his head up to look at was a buffalo actually crossing the dam through the water, and all we can see here is ripples coming towards us, and we've got a spike thorn in our way. Cheers. So, we're now all by ourselves with the leopard. I'm going to try edge a tiny bit back, hopefully we don't lose any signal, just so we get his face out from behind that branch. There. Is that good for you, Alex? Guys, please remember any questions on Twitter at #SafariLive or by email at questions@WildEarthTV. I think it might be quite interesting to just sit here for a while, because the buffalo might move this way and actually sort of chase him off.
Station's leaving the lock with this motoring with Mvula, with Brent on lock. He's flat cat on the eastern side of Mvula Dam in the drainage, space for 2.
Also in my notes on Mvula here, apart from being thought to be one of the 5 biggest leopards in the Sabi Sands, he also has one of the largest territories for a male leopard. So he's quite an impressive boy. So he was born in, according to this, in 2005. So make him 10 this year. Amazing how supple these animals are.
Okay, copy. Yeah, I'm going to stop at the junction, check cut line for coffee, and then I will make my way back to the site. Alright.
Oh, it's lovely when the light catches his eye. He's watching that. Oh, there's an elephant right here, guys. So if you pan out quickly, Alex, we've actually got an elephant who's snuck into the water right in front of us. So how's this? We've got an elephant right there. It might be quite interesting if he comes this way. Oh, it's just a young bull. I don't think he's seen the leopard. Otherwise, I'm sure he would chase him just for fun. It's amazing how quietly an elephant can come in. Oh. No, he's going to walk off. He didn't notice Mvula lying in the shade there. Be quite interesting, maybe. I'm just trying to see where the wind's coming from. Or if he catches his scent, he could come down. Scott coming. Okay, copy. This animal, so if you do come back towards this area, you're more than welcome to join. There's that big dewlap. It's always a very good sign of a big adult male. You know, I've got a sneaky suspicion he might move again a little bit. Although he's... Oh, there we go. I think he might change sleeping spots. But it's a little bit exposed here for him to spend the whole day. And especially that elephant wandering around, it's actually gone up above him. Oh no, he's down again. But he might move into further up the drainage line or into somewhere a little bit thicker. A little bit later. But this area around... Oh, he's gone flat.
Move up again.
Yeah, I'm just going to move back up our hill a little bit. So he's not behind that little stalk of grass. I wonder where that Ellie went. He wandered off in here. It's quite I'm talking about how far he had come from earlier, and he's come from the southern Sabi Sands, right near the Kruger Gate at sort of one of the main entrances into the Kruger National Park. So I'm guessing it's probably, as the crow flies, around 35-40 kilometers from here. But male leopards, when they disperse, are capable of incredible distances. There's a wonderful organization called Panthera, who basically focuses on the study of all cats actually, but they've got a few projects in different parts of Africa on leopards, and one is in northern Zululand, and generally most research on leopards been done on females because they're much easier to find and their territories are much smaller, and also if you collar a female cub, or it's a young female leopard, she's unlikely to move too far from her natal territory. But with the males, they disperse often very big distances. So up until recently, no one's really sort of studied the movements or the dispersal habits of leopard. So what they did is they collared 2 dispersal males in northern Zululand, and to see where they went, and 2 of these males made incredible journeys. One went from northern Zululand all the way to the southern Kruger National Park. That's around 400 kilometers that male dispersed, and the other went south from there all the way through populated areas, farming areas, and then settled in the rural areas in the mountains about 250 kilometers south of where he was born. And I suppose that's very important in terms of genetics to stop the inbreeding. Scotty, do you want me to do an audio link over to you? We're very, very privileged to be able to spend the time we do with these animals. Okay, well, Mvula's fast asleep. We're going to cross to Scott. It seems like they've managed to sort out some of their technical issues and see what Scott's got in the west of the road.
Okay, copy. Welcome back. And it's been a few days since we viewed the hyena den site, so we're very happy that it was active when we arrived just a few minutes ago. As you can see, there's a mother and one of the cubs nursing, and there's one other adult lying up nearby. No sign of the other two cubs yet, so hopefully they'll poke their head out of the den at some stage. And what an amazing morning it's been. So happy that Brent and Alex also got to see Mvula, because he is such a beautiful big male, and I'm sure Brent and Alex were very happy that they've also got a turn. And I believe an elephant's also popped down to Buffelshoek Dam, so lots of action this morning. As Brian zooms in, this female, for those of you who have been following the drives closely, her ears were dripping with blood, the edges of her ears, just a few days ago. They were really raw and battered, but have seemed to cured very well over the last few days, so her ears are looking better, which is good news. Potentially
keep it down.
In hyena clans, the hierarchy is very strict, and that's even from a very young age amongst the cubs. So the other cubs that aren't around, there are two, obviously know that the one that's suckling now is more dominant than them, and they're going to wait their turn.
Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2 3.
Properly, and that way achieving a higher success rate in raising cubs to adulthood.
So how was it?
often in hyena society, even the cubs will outcompete their siblings to a point of starvation, which, yes, I know it is very harsh, but again, it is the way a hyena operates. And quite interesting, the hierarchy with hyena and the siblicide that occasionally occurs. Right now though, it's a peaceful scene. You'll notice that it's very, very windy. Well, the wind is picking up considerably, and it is a windy time of the year. And due to the wind, that's why these hyena keep picking their heads up, looking around, just to make sure any rustles they are hearing aren't any potential threats approaching. And Brian spotted some big buffalo bulls. So getting spoiled today. Brent with Mvula and some elephants in the area, and now while we're sitting at the hyena den site, we've got some buffalo in view. Oh, interesting, it looks like there could be a female in there. Oh no, that's the young calf. There's quite a young calf that obviously got separated from his herd. It's the one on the right that you can see with the smallest horns. And it's abnormal for, it's not quite a calf, I guess, but it's still a youngster, not fully grown, and it's uncommon to have them following the large old males around. A buffalo of that size would typically, usually be following the large herds, but it obviously got separated from them and now has decided to hang out with these big old boys, which is not a bad decision because they'll certainly keep it safe. I'm not sure if it's a female or a male, that calf. I need to have a close look at it. But either way, the buffalo have taken it in under their wing, all the older boys. individual you can see there is rubbing his head quite intently into the small bushes there, and that could be to alleviate any itches on the forehead and between the horns. But another theory is that they do actually enjoy polishing up their horns against bushes to make themselves look more impressive. Well, certainly not planning on leaving the den sites anytime soon. It would be interesting to see whether the other cubs come out and liven things up a bit. So we're going to hang around here and wait and see what happens. But until then, let's head back to Brent and see what he's been up to for the last little while.
Away from him, but in general having a good little lie down. Hey firm, Joost, Brent here.
Brent, my radio was down for a bit. I had to make a few calls. Any updates?
We are still with Mvula. He's lying up in the same position. I think everyone else has crossed into Buffalo's Hook. Scott's at one of the hyena dens, and there's activity there. I'm not sure which one, but I can find out for you.
That's fine. Thanks, Brent. Thank you.
Good morning, Diane from Texas. Welcome on Drive with us this morning. Mvula is in the same place, and also Diane would like to know about the holes in the bank above Mvula. There we go. Well spotted. Yes, that's possibly kingfisher nests, or also bee eaters will nest in clay banks like that. So that's very well noticed, but yeah, more than likely a bird nest. And the reason the kingfishers and bee eaters like to nest in these clay banks is a form of protection from. It's much harder for a snake, or especially monitor lizards, to access them and raid the nests. Okay guys, apparently there's quite a lot of action happening at the hyena den, so we're going to cross quickly back to Scott and enjoy the hyena cubs. Over to you, Scotty.
Cubs now do pop their head out again. What's very interesting is that it's hard to tell what's going on here with these cubs. The cub that you can see now that was nursing is considerably larger than the two other cubs that are at this den site. And some days it seems like the youngsters get preference for nursing, but today this one is. Possibly the smaller ones fed first and now this older one can feed. Why one mother's raising cubs that look to be from two different litters is another interesting fact or matter that we are not unsure about. So a lot of unknown and speculation as to what exactly is going on with this small clan of hyena. Copy that, no problems. Oh, time to get comfortable. Had enough to drink. And isn't that cute? I wonder why the other cubs are seeking refuge down in the burrow. Possibly it's the wind that's unnerving them. Or possibly the fact that there is this other hyena here. It's possibly a male, the one that was standing up at the base of the den when Andrew had a split screen going. And the cubs were certainly quite cautious of it as it arrived. I think it's a male. And the only reason I say that is because of its size. It's considerably smaller than the female that we can see in shot now. And in the hyena world, it's the females who are larger and more dominant than the males, which is uncommon in nature. Typically, it's the other way around as a general rule. But for some reason, hyena have inverted the regular process, and therefore males tend to be smaller than females. They're an animal that's very difficult for us to sex because their genitalia both look very similar to one another. So even from a young age all the way up to adulthood, it's hard to be certain the sex of hyena. Frowned upon, I guess. I think Brian's just spotted that the buffalo in the background are still feeding in the general area, and they wouldn't be too concerned with the hyena. If they did get close to the den site, these old bulls may come charging in and chase the hyena off, but they're quite a way off here, and I think even if they smelt them from this distance, they wouldn't be hugely perturbed. Well, it is Murphy's Law that, as we cut back to Brent earlier, the other pups poked their heads out, and then as soon as we went live again, they disappeared back down the hole. But again, that could change at any moment, and myself and Brian are in no rush to head off. Good morning, Jennifer from New York. Jennifer's just sent through some information regarding these hyena, and I think Tara, when Tara was here a couple of weeks ago, another presenter, she deduced that, or assumed that there were 3 mothers with 3 different sets of cubs, 1 litter of just 1 cub and then 2 litters of 2 cubs. And that certainly is possible, but again, it's an interesting one with hyena, because so much does vary in terms of their mating behavior depending on the clan. You can never be sure what actually has happened. Technically speaking, in a hyena clan, only the alpha female and alpha male will breed. Occasionally, the beta female and beta male will also be allowed to breed or mate. So that would be kind of an abnormality, that there's an extra litter. So the fact that there were potentially 3 litters all within 1 clan is really interesting. And what's further interesting is that, would those mothers then all take turns raising the cubs, or would they raise their own sets individually? Because, as I mentioned earlier, this cub here was not being allowed to suckle the last time I was at this den site. It's slightly older than the other 2. Yet the same female, I'm fairly certain it's the same female, is now allowing this cub to nurse. And as you can see now, acting like it's one of her own. So, really interesting stuff. And thanks, Jennifer, for sending through that info. But you ask yourself now then, well, where are the 2 other mothers and the 2 other cubs? They've potentially split up, and 2 of the cubs are with one of their mothers elsewhere, but that still leaves 1 mother short. You'll notice how this cub's spots are just beginning to show, and it's beginning to brown behind the ears, or lighten up behind the ears, whereas the other cubs are considerably smaller and have yet to start browning behind the ears, and that's typically where their coat does begin to brown. Go ahead, Brent. The one off Rebecca's. Well, it isn't uncommon for a hyena like this, a mother, to leave the den sites to go for a bit of peace and quiet, otherwise the cubs will continue to pester her for the whole day, and she needs to relax. She would have had a long night out, and she's done a little bit now for the day. Can you still see her there, Brian? No. I wonder where she's headed to.
She's headed, there she comes.
Well, as you can see, that cub just tumbled back down into the burrow, and that was quite funny to see. But she's moving off, eh?
Yeah, she's going off.
Wow. So, I couldn't see her, but Brian could. She's made her way off a considerable distance away from the den sites already. So, she's gone to relax and would probably only return in the afternoon. Let's watch what happens here. Okay, dear in Miami. Good afternoon, or good morning rather, and thanks for sending through some more info. According to Dear, the den sites that Tara found were all individual, so there's 3 individual den sites, I believe, according to the message Andrew just sent through to me on the radio. And that kind of explains things, that they're 3 different clans. Well, at the moment, all the hyena have disappeared, so I'm glad we got you when we did, because we did get to see some fairly good action of them this morning. And now that the adults have moved off, I doubt the cubs will come out to play again. So myself and Brian are going to continue on this morning's adventure. Brent, if you don't mind letting the guys know, it's just become inactive. Adults have moved off, cubs are scurrying down the burrow. Okay, copy. Are things there with you? Okay. So, where to head now? Brian, any ideas of where you'd like to go?
Not too sure.
On our way to the hyena den site, we passed back over WildEarthTV dam wall, and we did hear some monkeys alarm calling, kind of in the riverbed that feeds the WildEarthTV dam. But we didn't follow up there, we decided to rather come here. So that's also just some useful information for us to keep in the bank. And remember, even if you don't necessarily go into an area and follow up on alarm calls, at least by just taking notes of them, you can head back into that area this afternoon and potentially come across whatever tracks it is of the animal that they were shouting at. I really would like to see some elephants. It's been a while since we've seen some elephants, so that would be something.
Start and end your day on safari.
Copy that. Ah, these are really cool birds, and one's making a kill. And thankfully, because it is making a kill, they're kind of not too interested in us. These are white-crested helmet shrikes, and they are just such pretty birds. And interestingly enough, there's an adult on the right, and you can see the baby on the left. The baby on the left has yet to get the full patterning and coloration of the adults. And that was cool to see. That was the first time I've ever actually seen a baby white-crested helmet shrike of that age. I'm just going to see if we can give you one last glimpse of them, because they really are pretty birds with a bright yellow ring around their eye. Oh, no, there they all go. Well, I'm glad we got to see those little birds, but maybe it's worth going back to Brent and catching up on him, and myself and Brian will see what we can find around the next corner.
So it's quite fascinating, guys. There's a bushbuck that's just come down to drink, not even 50 meters from where Mvula's sleeping, and he just didn't notice it. His head was flat in the ground. The bushbuck's come and drink. It's been here for about 3 minutes, and he just didn't notice that as it came down. The wind is also not good for him, so he wouldn't have smelt it coming down either. It's amazing, we think we miss things, and we're not the only ones. It would be quite interesting if the bushbuck decided to walk this way. And as you can see now, there's the bushbuck and there's Mvula, fast asleep, enjoying the cool sand. So we'll keep an eye on that bushbuck, see if it does move towards him. And now he lifts his head up and the bushbuck is out of view. He's seen something else. Guys, there's something else that might be coming down to the water behind us. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I can't see anything just yet. It's definitely not the same bushbuck we just saw, but he's gone into proper stalk mode. I'm looking very carefully, but I can't see what he's saying. Might be impala or maybe another bushbuck or nyala coming down as it's got warmer to drink. We might have heard something else that we didn't hear. But even though he is quite full, he is an opportunist. We're probably going to lose him for a while because We can't go up that little path he went up, but we're going to just sit tight here. I'm going to go back a little bit. He's scent marking now, so whatever he saw is disappeared, or he's not that interested in it, but he is. Let me see if he moves towards where that bushbuck is. I can still just see the bum of the bushbuck just to my right, and he's probably no more than 60 meters from it, and if he goes right along, all the felines down. It's a good spot for him to be around here during the day. You never know what might come down to drink. So whatever he initially got him to get up and
Inch forward a bit, maybe.
shot an inch forward. So went there. What we can also do, well, let's just sit here for a little bit, but I know if we get out we can access him from on top, but I think this is very good for now. So remember guys, if you have any questions, please send them in on Twitter to #SafariLive or on email to questions@WildEarthTV. Good morning, Blair, who's from Vancouver Island in Canada. Blair would like to know if Kunyama and Quarantine were not his cubs and they actually belonged to another male, would he know? Probably not. That's why the female leopards will mate with multiple males. It's to sort of convince almost all the males that those cubs might come into contact with while they're young, that male is the father. But as I said, because he's the sort of main and dominant male leopard in the majority of Karula's territory, it is likely that he is the father, but there is an off chance that he's not. Alex, can you still see that bushbuck? Nope. Copy, thanks. You can see how as it's got hotter, and because he's got a full belly, his breathing's become a bit more laboured, and that's because digestion actually causes heat. Keep watching off to my right, see if that bushbuck moves through the bush towards us. Good morning, Donna from Niagara Falls in Canada. Donna would like to know if leopards always hunt alone. Donna, probably most of the time they do hunt alone, but sometimes where there's a female who's got sub-adult cubs, they might try a hunt with her as well. That is a possibility. And then in very rare occasions I've heard of an adult male and adult female sort of stalking the same animal. It's difficult to say whether they were hunting together as such, but both stalking the same animal. But with a female with sub-adults, it is very possible. You can almost see, there we go, I was going to say, you can almost see his head getting heavy. Okay, while he's fat like that, I'm just going to take a few seconds and we'll try and move around to the other side so we can have a look at his face. It is going to take me a little while to get around there because of where we are. As you can see, we've got to go up this quite steep embankment and through the bush, the same way we came in. Go. That wasn't too bad. Watch out for the thorns. There, Alex. Are you lying with this one or the next? One, I think it's the next one. No, it's this one. So I don't know how long you guys have been watching for, but I did mention that I did think he was going to move from that little sandy spot because he was quite exposed. And then possibly when he heard whatever animal that might have been coming down, which we couldn't see, he showed a bit of interest in. He's moved up here now, gives him a little bit more cover, so if an animal does come down during the day to drink, he's got a good chance of being able to ambush it. Even though he has a full belly, he definitely wouldn't say no to another meal. All predators are opportunists. Very beautiful leopard. Lovely, lovely colouring. Remember guys, any questions, send them through on Twitter to #SafariLive and via email questions@WildEarthTV. Oh, cool. There's a update from Scott. He's found tracks of Karula and Mvula on the same road, in the same area where Scott left Karula yesterday. So, but it's very difficult to tell whether they walked down the road together or at different times. But it's still interesting. So he found those tracks on Treehouse Road, and he left Karula at Treehouse Dam last night. You're always listening, always smelling. Good morning, Shanae, all the way from New Zealand. Shanae would like to know, has the leopard evolved recently, or are there any traits they might sort of be evolving at the moment? As far as I know, leopards haven't evolved in sort of about the last 500,000 years. And I'm not 100% sure whether they're actually evolving any other specialties at the moment. They are a very, very complete package, and of all the big cats, they are the most numerous and widespread in Africa and the world. I mean, they occur through most of Africa, just the sort of, and even in some of the very big urban areas. I mean, there's leopards in and around Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban in South Africa, and Nairobi and Dar es Salaam in East Africa. And they also occur, as far as I know, only in the really center of the driest deserts do you not find leopards in Africa. Obviously, they've been locally put under pressure in certain areas due to human encroachment and lack of food sources. But leopards also occur through the Middle East, into India, and there is a remnant population of leopards. I'm not sure how well they're doing. I haven't checked up on them for a while. In Spain, and leopards did occur sort of through Spain, Portugal, into France, in quite recent history, in the last 500-600 years. But as far as I'm aware, there is a remnant population of leopards still in Spain. So at the moment, you never know. There might be a big climatic change or whatnot that might cause leopards to adapt or start evolving a new set of skills. But at the moment, I don't think so.
Not to forget the side you're in.
Yes, yes, Alex being from Russia, obviously has to remind me that can't forget the Amur leopard that lives in the very cold Siberian region of Russia, and they have evolved some special adaptations. They've got a much thicker coat, obviously having to deal with those incredibly harsh winters. Also, probably a more recent adaptation in India and Sri Lanka, where the human population is so high, the leopards are pushed into quite small areas. They've sort of, I wouldn't say evolved, but they've adapted into being far almost more social, and they live in smaller areas. I've got a friend working in India at the moment with leopards, and in the region he is, they often see up to 5 or 6 leopards in a single place, and because of the high human density in that area, they're sort of pushed onto this very long rocky outcrops of these bare granite boulders, and they actually go into the yoga temples for shade, and my friend has actually seen like yogis doing their morning yoga with a leopard sleeping in the temple 25 meters away from them, and there seems to be actually quite there's not much human leopard conflict in that area as well. So it's almost like the leopards and the people have learned over the past 1,000 years, as the human population has increased, to sort of coincide for now. So unlike the male lions yesterday, who, if we left them sleeping here at this time of the day, the chances of them being very far from here are very slim. With the leopard, he's probably not going to move too far, but he might move far enough away that it could make it not incredibly difficult, but a bit more challenging to find him in the afternoon. But he can always prove me wrong and be lying in the exact same spot. Sorry, Andrew, I only copied half your message. Good morning, Kevin, in Boston. Kevin would like to know if big cats ever go into deep REM sleep. As far as I know, not. Maybe possibly when they are cubs, but even then I think they are still quite active. As you notice, even when he's sleeping, his ears are moving, and he's always conscious of what's around him. It would be quite detrimental for any animal that lives out in the bush to go into a deep REM sleep, because it would lend themselves to being vulnerable to attack from predators, or even from competing species, competing animals of the same species. On Ustream, people are saying the sounds like we sped up. Alex is not sure. Oh, he's just heard there's a group of Franklins coming down to drink, and he just heard the movement in the grass and dropped his ears, and then he saw what they were and not so interested.
Maybe move back a little?
Sure.
I mean the car.
Stations, I'm still with Mvula. He's lying up on the eastern bank of Buffelshoek Dam.
that block for Mvula now?
And the eastern bank of Buffelshoek Dam, probably about 60 meters to the north of the Torchwood. He's moved out of the sand on the side, and he's come up onto the side of the bank. He's flat at the moment. It's not the greatest, and he is behind Timbuti at the moment. Are we behind us there, Alex? How's that? There we go. And also, don't have to worry about putting my big fat head in the way of the camera all the time. So you noticed how his reaction just with the Franklin coming down, immediately awake, just from a slight scuffle in the grass. So that's why, as I was saying earlier, this is a really good spot for him to spend the day. And he's got a good chance of a impala or an inyala or even a bushbuck inadvertently walking into him. Remember guys, if you have any questions for us, on email you can send it to questions@wildearth.tv, or on Twitter just #SafariLive. We do really appreciate all your questions, and we try to get through as many of them as possible in a drive. Say goodbye, and we probably will spend the last remaining of the drive with Mvula. So I'm going to hand you over to Scott.
So thanks very much for joining us on this morning's Safari Live Drive, and thanks to Brian who was on camera with me and Andrew in final control. And what a morning it's been. Our luck continues, so let's hope it continues this afternoon, and we'll see what happens. Then only time will tell. Looks like we could potentially have a little bit of wet weather this afternoon, but it's too soon to panic. Anyway, again, from myself and Brian, a big thanks and goodbye till this afternoon.
As you can see, Mvula has not moved. Well, we can always keep our fingers crossed that something wanders down in the last few minutes while we're sitting here. You can hear the Cape turtle doves calling in the background. Good morning, Anna from Pennsylvania. Anna would like to know how big Mvula's claw is compared to my hand. So he is quite a large male leopard. Sorry, his paw, not claw, to my hand. He is quite a big male leopard, but it would probably fit in the palm of my hand around here. That's probably about the, and that's a very big male leopard. I actually haven't seen his tracks yet. I've been very lucky, I've only seen him, but just judging from his body size, it would probably fit in that. And if you take that, for example, for a male lion, certain male lions will be, their paws will be the size of my whole hand with my fingers extended. So a big male leopard is about that size, and a male lion, it will be the whole sort of circumference of my hand. And that's not all male lions, just a really big one. Hi. Good morning, Diana in Canada. Diana would like to know, what's my favorite animal to follow apart from a woman? Diana, it would most definitely be the wild dogs. They are my personal favorite animal, and I just find them really, really exciting. But I'm quite lucky in what I do, that I love following most animals, and I have lots of favorites in the bush. But my top favorite would be the wild dogs. Morning, Chris. Welcome on Drive with us this morning. Chris would like to know, what is the biggest kill I've known a male leopard to make. I think probably an adult kudu bull is one of the biggest, and also an adult wildebeest female. Those are probably the two biggest kills I've known a male leopard to make. But probably the most dangerous kill I've known a male leopard to make was actually in the Sabi Sands, and another leopard that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of before by the name of the Campan male. He basically was hiding in the middle of a herd of about 400 buffalo, and he grabbed a young buffalo calf and then scurried up a tree. Not the biggest, but definitely the most risky leopard kill I've heard of. So guys, thanks for joining us on Drive this morning. It's always, as always, been wonderful having you with us, and we were really fortunate to find Mvula this morning. So have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you might be in the world, and I'm quite sure you'd much rather look at Mvula for the last few seconds than me.